For over a century, the fastest man alive has had a target on his back. In 1912, it took 10.6 seconds to wear that title. Decade by decade, sprinters tore that number apart. Then one runner pushed it somewhere nobody has reached since. Nobody has come close. So how much faster can the human body go? Let's find out. The 100 meters is the oldest test of pure speed in the Olympic program, and the record books have kept official score since 1912. That year, at the Stockholm Olympics, American sprinter Donald Lippincott ran 10.6 seconds in a qualifying heat, and it became the first time ever officially recognized by the sport's governing body. 9 years passed before Charlie Paddock lowered it to 10.4 seconds in 1921. 9 more years passed before Canada's Percy Williams brought it down to 10.3 in 1930. Then, in 1936, an Ohio State sprinter named Jesse Owens ran 10.2 seconds at the NCAA Championships, just 2 months before he won 4 gold medals at the Berlin Olympics. His record would not be touched again for 2 full decades. 10 different sprinters matched Owens' time of 10.2 seconds over the next 20 years, but not one of them ran faster. When Owens set that mark, sprinters still dug their own footholds into the cinder track with a hand trowel. The Olympics would not allow starting blocks until London in 1948. The record itself finally moved in 1956. West Germany's Armin Harry became the first man ever officially timed at 10 flat, just months before winning gold at the 1960 Rome Olympics. For nearly half a century, every one of these marks had been measured by hand, with a stopwatch and a human thumb deciding history. That method was about to disappear for good. At the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, officials used fully automatic electronic timing for the first time. American sprinter Jim Hines crossed the line in 9.95 seconds, becoming the first man ever electronically recorded under 10 seconds. Hines later played professional football for the Miami Dolphins after his track career ended. His record stood for 15 years, the longest any fully electronic world record has ever lasted. It finally fell in 1983 when Calvin Smith ran 9.93 seconds at altitude in Colorado Springs. Smith's mark would survive 5 years, until a single night in Seoul changed the sport forever. At the 1988 Seoul Olympics, Canada's Ben Johnson exploded to a stunning 9.79 seconds, smashing the field and the world record in the same race. 2 days later, he tested positive for a banned steroid and was stripped of his medal and his time. Johnson later admitted he had been using performance-enhancing drugs for years before that race, not just on the night he was caught. The gold medal, and eventually the record, passed to American Carl Lewis, who had run 9.92 seconds in that same final. The scandal cast a shadow over the event that would return again before the decade was out. Lewis was not finished. The world record changed hands 5 times in the 1990s alone, more than in any decade before or since. In 1991, his training partner and rival Leroy Burrell ran 9.90 seconds in New York. Lewis answered 2 months later at the World Championships in Tokyo, running 9.86 seconds to reclaim the record at age 30. Burrell struck back in 1994 with 9.85 seconds in Lausanne. Canada's Donovan Bailey lowered it further to 9.84 while winning Olympic gold in Atlanta in 1996. Then, in 1999, American Maurice Green became the first man ever to break 9.8 seconds, running 9.79 in Athens, Greece. His mark held for the rest of the decade. The 2000s brought new speed and new controversy. In 2002, Tim Montgomery ran 9.78 seconds in Paris, but the time was later erased after his connection to the Balco doping scandal came to light. In 2006, Justin Gatlin was briefly credited with a new record before officials discovered a timing error, and he soon failed a drug test of his own. Through all of it, Jamaica's Asafa Powell kept running clean and kept getting faster, lowering the record to 9.77 in 2005 and 9.74 in 2007. Powell held the record for nearly 3 years, and over his career he broke the 10-second barrier more times than any sprinter in history. But his reign was about to meet a taller, younger countryman. In 2008, Usain Bolt entered his first serious 100-meter season and immediately ran 9.72 seconds in New York, taking Powell's record. Standing 6 feet 5 inches tall, Bolt needed fewer strides than almost any rival to cover the same 100 meters, turning his height from a supposed weakness into the engine of his speed. 3 months later, at the Beijing Olympics, Bolt ran 9.69 seconds, slowing down to celebrate before he even reached the line. Exactly 1 year later, on the same calendar date, Bolt returned to a World Championships final in Berlin and ran 9.58 seconds, becoming the first man in history to break 9.6. "I am proud of myself because I'm the first man to do that," Bolt said afterward, admitting even he was stunned by the number on the clock. That time still stands today. No one has gone under 9.6 seconds since. Italy's Marcel Jacobs won Olympic gold in 9.80 inside the empty stadiums of Tokyo in 2021. 3 years later in Paris, Noah Lyles outleaned Jamaica's Kishane Thompson by 0.05 of a second, with both men sharing the identical time of 9.79 in the closest Olympic 100-meter finish in modern history. Technology borrowed straight from the marathon shoes that had already rewritten distance running records. Researchers at the University of Michigan later confirmed that these spikes do make runners measurably more efficient, even though the advantage in a 10-second sprint is smaller than in a longer race. Bolt, who ran his world record in simple, unweighted spikes, said the new technology felt unfair to the athletes who came before it. "I couldn't believe that this is what we have gone to," he told Reuters. The next world record, whenever it comes, may owe as much to a shoe as to a sprinter. In 2025, Oblique Seville stunned the field to win gold in 9.77, while Kishane Thompson, the world leader at 9.75, became the 6th fastest man in history. Meanwhile, Kenny Bednarek ended that season as the world's 2nd fastest man, illustrating how many elite sprinters are now packed within mere hundredths of each other. At the 2026 Rome Golden Gala, Noah Lyles clocked 9.88, his fastest since the Paris Olympic final. More sprinters are now running sub 9.80 than ever before, yet Bolt's 9.58 record from 2009 remains unchallenged. Bolt himself remains unmoved. Historically, the record fell to better technology and training, but it has now stood for over 16 years, the longest stretch in the sport's modern era. While this generation is deeper and faster across the board than any before it, the pursuit continues. In September, the World Athletics Ultimate Championship in Budapest offers another stage for this chase. Whether this unprecedented depth eventually produces the capable of surpassing Bolt is a question the sport has been asking for over a century. The clock is still running.